What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hometown Podcast. This is your boy P. Moore.
Logan B.
Nick J.
And today we're bringing you episode 2, or 3,
4.
Good thing
What's
we
up,
practiced.
y'all? Welcome back to the Hometown Podcast. Another episode coming at you guys. Nick J.
Logan B.
P. Moore.
Episode 3, and we're excited to have you guys back. Got a bunch of interesting topics to talk about. How y'all been, though?
Been good. Had to work this weekend, do a little snow work, middle of the night, so that's always exciting.
What's snow work? Like, what type of...
So we did just salting. We did salting on the last one. No table salt. You know, it's
No tables.
we got chemicals. You know, this is industrial salt.
NaCl.
Yeah. This is a different kind of salt. You
Right.
know, we sprinkle that shit down, and I did a few parking lots.
Okay.
Few parking lots over the weekend.
Yeah, how's your weekend looking?
Man, just channeling my inner Snoop Dogg, sipping
Inner
that
Snoop
gin
Dogg.
and juice,
Mm.
laid back, got my mind on my money and the money on my mind.
Heard you preach.
I like that.
Okay.
You know, I just kicked it this weekend. My homie Jacob came back in town from college, so it was good to see him.
Hell
So, yeah, just been chilling, man.
Good shit. Good
Kind of
shit.
clearing up my mental for a little bit,
Yeah.
writing some stuff down for you guys, and
Mm-hmm.
ready to go.
Podcast topics. Well,
Yup.
good shit. Well, what do y'all want to get into first? We got a bunch of topics, like I said. I think one of the things we want to talk about for our sports fans is the MLB is back. I'm excited for baseball. The lockout was a long, strenuous process, but
100 days.
they finally came to an agreement, and MLB looks like we're having a season this year.
I'm super excited about that because, you know, I've been a baseball fan and player
Yeah, you're the
myself.
baseball guy, really, on the podcast.
I am. I got my
so-
baseball book in my backpack. I got a baseball with me that I got from an MLB game. It's over in my backpack. I'll get
Yeah,
it for you in a
keep it
second.
What game was it?
Cincinnati Reds and the Washington Nationals.
What year was that?
Technically last year.
Last
we
year, okay.
2021.
we were sitting, 2021. We were sitting behind third base, like on the line. We were 3 rows up. Just could see the whole field. I caught one ball from a Washington Nationals player, and then I caught a foul ball and saved some little girl from getting hit in the face with it. It was pretty cool. But I gave her that ball. And then I kept the one that I caught from the player.
What a
But
hero. What a hero.
yeah, interesting about that game. So I know he's a free agent right now, but Nick Castellanos for the Reds.
Yep.
He they were down by 2 in the 7th inning. They score, tie the game, 8th inning.
This was
Goose
the game
eggs.
you were at?
Yeah, goose eggs on the board. Then coming up in the 9th, they struck out Juan Soto and struck the side out. And so Nick gets up in the 9th inning, first pitch, blast one, just dead
Knocked it
center,
out.
walk off.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was like 1 in the morning. My little brothers were
Yeah.
fucking pissed.
Yeah.
But it was a good time.
That's
but
the thing about baseball. Those 0-0 games are so boring and seem so bad, like throughout the innings. But
Yeah.
then once that final home run or that final RBI hit comes in, because it's the buildup, and then that final walk off, everybody's just
the high scoring games are definitely my favorite
Yeah.
because you get to see a lot of baseball being played. I know, like, it's cool to have pitchers duel, but you
A
want to see
lot
some
of
hitting,
time,
man.
A lot of times, some people will say, like, it's just the pitcher and catcher playing pitch and catch. Just a lot of times with low scoring games, just a lot of pitch and catch. But
Yeah, I'm super excited it's back. I loved last season watching baseball as a fan and a old player. I loved watching last season because COVID had everything kind of screwed up.
well, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Last year,
everything.
you go into the game was probably
It was
the first
awesome.
year with fans back. Since,
Yep. And so it was every single game was electric.
Yeah.
And then the postseason was most viewers in years.
They were waiting
It
for
was
that.
awesome, man. I'm super excited. I'm glad they finally figured it out because I don't really know what I would have done if we didn't have a
Right.
baseball season this year,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, I'm super excited about it. I brought a baseball book. Let me go ahead and grab it real quick. Fellas.
So just to touch on, so I was unfamiliar with what a lockout was. So I did some research for this, and basically a lockout is when essentially, so every 5 years the contract expires for the MLB, right? The contract between the owners and the players. And a lockout is essentially when there is a disagreement between the two parties on what the new terms are. So in this one, the main things I saw them talking about were, there was a few things, but simply put, the players wanted more money for themselves and less money for the owners.
Which is ridiculous.
And on the flip
In this sense.
And on the flip side, the owners wanted more money for themselves and less money for the players, right? So this is what the whole disagreement was about, as well as I know some rule changes.
And some labor stuff too.
And some labor stuff too. And one thing they touched on was the length of the games, I know. Because the average time of a game is up to like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Which is someone that doesn't watch baseball and occasionally flips it on. I find myself going, what am I watching?
Yeah.
What's next? This is a snooze
Yeah,
fest.
they need to definitely like work on the entertainment aspect of baseball. The league does, and just like promoting their players better. Like with the NBA, how they promote their players. You see LeBron everywhere.
Oh my God.
Highlights everywhere. Mike Trout, dude, is an electrifying athlete,
One of
and,
the best-
and nobody
one of the
knows
best.
about him outside of hardcore baseball fans. The common sports fan doesn't even really know who
Yeah.
Mike Trout is. I mean, I think the MLB, the league, has to do a better job of supporting and promoting their athletes.
And I think a lot of people would actually like to watch these games if they can understand and get familiar with the players through the promoting aspect, because like marketing's a big thing in these sports, and I agree with you. Baseball has not been marketed very well because it's just, I don't know.
It's hard to market like that game. The pace of the game is so slow, and I know it's America's pastime. People hate to mess with pastimes and stuff.
Yeah.
I think seven innings could be a good move. And it's like people hate change, but when the viewership and that stuff is this low, it's like you got to do something.
I get
7 innings might be good.
I get that. I just think from playing it, we played 7 innings in high school. You play 9 innings in college and MLB. So for a playing aspect, you like those longer innings. It makes the game more electric. You have more times to get more at bats.
Yeah.
Because if you have 7 innings, you might only get 2 at bats.
Right.
But if you're playing a 9-inning game and the way it shapes out, you could get 4 to 6.
Yeah.
So that's just coming from a playing aspect. But from a viewing aspect, I think they should just focus on entertainment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it could go the same thing as viewers want to see more at bats, more innings, more chances for their team to come back. But at the same time, you can't have a 3-hour, 4-hour game, especially when they go into extra innings. Some of these MLB games have gone 6-7 hours.
See, like in person, I'll sit. Like me and my buddies, we took J-Rob. I took J-Rob.
Person's a whole different
yeah,
thing.
exactly. But I don't know. Changing it to 7 innings, it would just kind of be. I don't know. It'd be a little shaky.
So to touch on, the new rules for the 2022 season, just to say a couple here. So they will be adopting a designated hitter. Yeah. And then it looks like here it says for the 2023 season, pitch clocks will be used, which I know is something that is currently in the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard some talk about that during the lockout, which that'll help speed the game up. Yeah. Because obviously people are just kind of sitting there, pitchers are just walking off the mound, kind of looking over at the dugout, chit-chatting a little. It's boring from a spectator perspective, and it's funny, like you said, in person, that's okay because you're still there, the crowd's still going.
Atmosphere.
But sitting in your living room, it's like, God, you're looking at your watch. Like,
Well, at the Bats games, they have them in the right field. At the Louisville Bats game, shout out to Louisville Bats, our AAA Cincinnati Rebs affiliate. They have the pitch clock in right field and in center field. So they've been trying it out for a couple of years, which I love. That also, here's the ball, boys.
Yeah.
It says Major League Baseball in there. You can go ahead and give it a look.
Yeah.
But I love the way they changed it because it will definitely speed up the pace of the game.
I used to have a mean knuckle back in high school.
Yeah, you used to have a mean knuckleball? Bro, I would strike you out any day of the week, man.
And then another couple...
My curveball's sick. Sorry.
You're good. Another couple rules here. So a draft lottery will be implemented to discourage tanking. So that was something I was reading up about as far as teams, the lower ranking teams would just intentionally try to lose as many games as they could to try to get the first pick, which is kind of a dangerous system that they had implemented. So now that it's a draft lottery, that shouldn't happen. So teams should all be fighting for wins, which I also feel like that helps drive up what they're paying the players, right? Because now all of a sudden it's more of a demand for good players, so then they can't make an argument of not paying people as much because there's more demand.
You know, I've thought about this for such a long time about the whole NBA lottery thing, and it's like, because tanking has been going on for decades, and it's like, the league is like, how do you fix it, right? So you implement a lottery, but the worst teams still are the ones in the lottery, right?
Right.
So it's like
not full.
And the worst team in the league gets the highest percentage. Like when they do the balls, it's like the worst team will get 9, compared to like the second to worst team will get 6. You know, so they're more likely. So even if you try to take tanking away, people in the league still tank to this day in the NBA, even with the draft lottery. But what do you do? Like honestly, for like if you had to come up with a solution to stop tanking, what do you do? Because you want these bad franchises to get these great players to try to even out the parity of the league. You don't want Celtics Lakers every year, right?
All right.
So you want the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Sacramento Kings to get great players, but you know, then you're just gonna have teams that are purposely losing games to try to get great players.
I feel like some of these teams are just like if you're already having a bad season, screw it.
I feel
like that's the mentality of the
some teams do it, you know.
Sadly,
30 games into this 80-game season, 30 games in, and they're like,
I really honestly don't think the Rockets are tanking though.
They're just too young.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the average player on their team. I mean, if we could look that up, maybe. I don't know if you can. The average age of the Houston Rockets players. Like the Rockets and the Thunder, are pretty much. I'm pretty sure, or the Grizzlies, the young, like they average like 20 years old, 21.
It's crazy.
You know, these are professional athletes, and they're all younger than us. Me and Logan, at least.
Well, yeah. Well,
so
another thing is
the average age of the Houston Rockets players. Average age is 23.7.
23, still super young.
Extremely young. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
This is like a professional sports team. The
Yeah.
average age is 23.
that's crazy. Well, see, so
That's why they're not doing great, but which is great for their future.
Yeah.
You know,
for
their
sure.
core is 20
The
years old.
young cores will struggle, but they will grow and they'll get even better. But another thing is the NBA has actually had a lot of lockouts in its history too. I think they've had
most recent one being 2012.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Which that was honestly great for the sport.
Yeah.
That lockout was great for the sport because you had guys that still wanted to hoop.
They were hooping
LeBron
overseas.
And KD, not overseas.
They were hooping at like Dykeman and Rucker.
And like you know, you ever listen to Street Ball? You got the announcer.
Yeah.
Give me 3, walk down. You know, so but you got KD coming down. And he got 60, and he's pulling up in Rucker, and fans are charging the court. That was a great moment for basketball culture.
It was just fun to
That
watch.
brought a lot of fans to the
Kobe was
sport.
hooping.
Kobe came out and put a game winner against James Harden in some rec league. You know what I mean? It's like in a small gym too, so the environments are nuts because it's not an NBA arena. And that brought a lot of fans to the sport when the lockout ended. I think the NBA was even bigger after that.
And then you saw a couple guys hooping overseas too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I saw a video. I don't know when it was, but it was during the lockout of somebody hooping overseas.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember who. I think it was actually. I can't remember actually.
Yeah, a couple guys did.
But yeah, you would watch like the Drew League and
Drew League was nice.
all that,
Rucker.
like all the YouTube videos with like it would be like Curry versus Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
IT's back on the Hornets too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he got signed to a 10-day contract. I don't know if he got.
I don't know that,
secured.
but
I do want to tell y'all, talk to y'all about something. Have y'all heard about the Calvin Ridley situation?
yep, he was betting on
I have not.
Calvin Ridley. Let me
Explain
tell y'all
that to
about
the
this.
viewing audience.
Atlanta
Calvin
Hawks,
Ridley,
Hawks.
was a former Atlanta Hawks wide receiver, NFL wide receiver, was suspended for the remainder of all of next year, the NFL season, for gambling on FanDuel on NFL games while being in the NFL.
And it said Caesars too. He used Caesars. The Atlanta Falcons are screwed.
So I actually pulled up. This is an article from Sports Illustrated that says the Falcons wideout bet more than $3,900 on 6 separate wagers. $3,900 isn't a lot if you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, kind of pocket change, I would think.
But $3,900 on 6 separate wagers that included Falcons games. So he's betting on his team, which is like super bad. You know
Pete
what I'm
Rose
saying?
Pete Rose got taken out of the Hall of Fame.
He got eliminated from baseball, pretty much.
Which was not allowed to play because he bet on his own team.
Which you have to consider the fact that like some of the bets you can make on those games are not just as simple as like do they win or lose. Like there's more specific.
First touchdown.
Yeah.
Field goal.
Things that a player
Dude, there's a video
could manipulate.
I wish I could show you guys, and it's like say Calvin Ridley over under 100 yards receiving, he could bet on himself and say under. There's videos of him catching the ball in the first down. He runs back. I'm not even shitting you.
I've seen that video.
He's trying to lose yards to make his bets to get the under. Like this is like if they investigate this more and really find out some stuff.
He's screwed
because it says 5 of the bets were parlays that included Atlanta's money line, which is win or lose.
Yeah.
Which I mean, if I think honestly, all professional athletes should have to put a certain amount of their check on their team's money line. That incentivizes all of them to go out and win, right?
On a simple win-loss.
Like that incentivizes all of them because that's going to take away tanking if you make guys bet on a win, right?
Like that.
But yeah, so I mean, it says the parlays are based on a $300 11-leg bet, so nothing crazy. But I still think the league is going to make an example out of them.
So
big time.
To tie it back in to the lockout, it's like you got to realize these professional sports are a business. Like you think of it as a fan, like, oh, well, I go to the arena and then I'm basically paying the players to play. Like that's what my ticket is, that's what my concession is. But that's not the case. You're paying the owners for them to let you see their team play.
Right.
So when you consider this middleman in the equation as the owners, that's where things get kind of weird, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not just as simple as the player gets X amount because the team does well. Well, as the owner, you're incentivized to try to pay people as little as possible, because I mean, true to an NBA owner, you're
running a business.
You're running a business, and the basketball players are nothing more than your employees, right? So you're going to have certain demands of them, certain expectations, and just like a workplace, if they violate, your silly rules, some would say that that would be means for termination. And you see players all the time, all across all sports, get terminated for like what seemed like silly ticky-tacky reasons. They didn't show up for practice.
Like behavior detrimental or conduct detrimental to the team.
They were they were negative around the camps and stuff. Like it's a business, $1 billion business. I mean at that.
And their salary caps are in like the $250 million, I think. Probably even more, honestly.
Yeah.
I saw the last salary cap.
That's what's
the NBA is like $275 million.
Well, the NBA,
just a couple teams.
That's the highest paid.
It differs though from team to team.
Yeah.
Depending on picks and different contract insinuaries, where you have to, like you pick up a guy, like how the Browns just got what's his name? Amari Cooper?
They just got Amari Cooper, I think.
They just got Amari Cooper, but they still have to pay the rest of his contract from Dallas. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
they bought him out. They bought him out of his contract there.
Yep.
Because he still had a year or two left on the contract.
Like I think it was like $25 million.
Out of nothing. I did not know this for sure, but
I think it was like $25 million that
they're going to finish that contract, and then so he's going to get breaded.
So the highest paid baseball player, how do you
Max Scherzer, pitcher,
and he's paid $115 million for a 5-year contract.
Yeah, he just signed that a couple years ago.
Look up Patrick Mahomes' contract.
All right, absolutely. And then just for context, LeBron James lands 6 overall, and he will eclipse $40 million in total salary by the end of his current Lakers contract, which I'd imagine that's for a few years.
I don't even think right now he's like the top 5 played.
What about Curry
in the league for this season?
I never hear that Curry's that like high paid. I don't know.
I think Curry took some pay cuts back when they signed KD to get KD, but I'm pretty sure he just signed like a super max.
So it does look like number 1 highest paid basketball player is Stephen Curry.
Yeah, he just signed like a super.
Wow, like a dumbass.
And for the 2021-22 salary, he got paid $45 million.
They secured him last year. When Clay was out, KD's gone. Obviously,
Clay dropped like almost
38 last night.
40.
Yeah, last night.
Yeah, it was last night.
Look at this contract.
And then, all right, so Patrick Mahomes' contract. So Mahomes' contract features $141 million in guarantees over 12 years, including a $63 million signing bonus.
Yeah.
So I mean, that just goes to show you, like, basketball is.
Hold on, wait, no.
This is spending his entire career in.
Patrick Mahomes signed a 10-year, it's $500 million. his contract.
Jeez.
Including a $10 million signing bonus.
It's
Oh
half
my
$1
God.
billion, bro. That's what I was referring to.
That's incredible. Okay.
Yeah.
These football contracts are crazy. I know.
I mean, baseball players are still, on average, I'm pretty sure, the highest paid athletes.
Oh, yeah.
When you got stars like Stephen Curry or Patrick Mahomes in their respective sport, like these teams will dump.
A lot of
the
NBA guys make their money through endorsements
and
and brand deals.
That's a good point. We should go into that. So on Mahomes' contract, he's at it looks like on his 10-year, basically $500 million contract, he's getting $45 million a year. So that put him right in line with Steph Curry as far as yearly payments. But to go into what you just said about the endorsements, which is a very good point, because I know they said LeBron makes.
I cannot, like, over $100 million.
Shaquille O'Neal right now,
outside of
Shaquille O'Neal right now is making more yearly, I bet, off his icy hot. He has
the general
200
and
deals.
It's
Bet
crazy.
you right now, Shaq is making more yearly than, say, a Jason Tatum off his NBA contract.
Yeah,
someone like that.
But
maybe more than Steph. I don't know how much Shaq's brand deals are worth, but
you can't even watch a YouTube video without seeing Patrick Mahomes' face pop up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
he is all
the
over
State Farm, and then when Chris Paul was with State Farm too.
I just want to know, like, what's Shaquille making a year, maybe, like his annual salary.
Yeah, because
not even salary, because that's just coming from.
And
his
bro's
job.
just DJ. He's on tour for DJing too. At the same time.
Assets. Yeah, he does DJ jobs. His endorsements are just ridiculous.
Did you ever see that video with he was during COVID, he was DJing in the kitchen, and Sharif and all of them were in there. That was funny.
Those were one of the good moments of COVID when that video came out.
Kenny Beats during COVID, that hit different.
So just on Google, it just says that Shaquille O'Neal is earning, it says, at least $60 million a year from his.
$60 million, so that's more than any NBA player is earning in this
year. Yes.
Right? Because Steph was the highest at 45.
Correct.
So that's what I was thinking. Yeah, he's making.
So Shaquille is out earning current NBA players merely through endorsements.
With icy hots in the general.
And it says at least $60 million, and I imagine Shaquille O'Neal probably isn't just gonna give out everything he's making. So probably higher.
He also probably has real estate, and then not just like sponsorships. He probably has real estate places,
businesses that he probably owns.
Yes, and then he also does his NBA TNT, which they give him $1 million, at least, a couple $1 million contract.
I would imagine, yeah.
So wow, that man's probably coming in close to I don't want to say 100
I would
million
say
a year.
I would say like 100 to
Holy
120
shit,
a year.
You start to think about that.
It's a lot of money. There's a lot more money outside of sports.
Shaq, if you're listening right now, can you just let me hold like $6 million?
Big fella. Listen, Big. I've been watching you since 1999, dude. And all I want is just a couple thousand.
I was watching you in my mom's womb in 2001.
That's a real fan.
Yeah, that's right. I watched him three-peat. He was in there kicking.
Yep.
Go Shaq.
Go Shaq.
But man, okay.
So I was gonna. So we hit those two topics. I was gonna tie it in here in the middle of the podcast, I would say, or something around there. The whole Russia-Ukraine situation.
Absolutely.
So I know this is obviously a pretty in-depth topic here, and we aren't politicians or government officials. We don't really know what's going on. But I watched a very interesting interview of the Nelk Boys actually interviewed Donald Trump. I don't know if
I saw that.
Did you see that?
I saw that.
Did you catch into that?
I actually had that down as a point. It got taken off of YouTube. The Nelk Boys Donald Trump video got removed from YouTube after 5 million views in 24 hours.
In 24 hours. So I watched that podcast, and that, along with other research I've done, clearly shows that the situation is so complicated. Like, they try to make out Putin as, the next Hitler, and he's just killing people for no reason. But when all of a sudden you start hearing things about there being biochemical research facilities in Ukraine that we were supporting, America was endorsing, you start going, that's pretty convenient. Like, I only imagine if another country was doing something similar to the United States in, say, Mexico. If Russia had biochemical research facilities in Mexico, we'd probably be pretty upset, right? That might be means for us to go in and take over that area as Americans, and I think we'd all be in support of that. So it's very ironic that when it's Russia, not to say that what they're doing is justified by any means, and obviously, the people that are losing their lives, like, there's no need for that.
It's terrible.
But when you start to look at things from other perspectives, you realize that this is not, a black and white situation. Like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, and I think as us being here, we can Google and we can look up facts all we want, but at the end of the day, we're not there. And I mean, either side, you could spit valid points for either side, but at the end of the day, it's kind of just all mayhem.
It is kind of
mayhem. I hate the war. I do not want to see anybody fighting unless it's me and I'm drunk at a bar. I'm ready to fight at all times. At all times. That's the only time I'm ready to fight.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like there's so much shit in this world already that, like, why are we fighting, man? We should be loving each other. And I get that.
It sounds good.
It sounds great.
It sounds good.
But actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the governments are in business too.
That's very true.
I understand the point where Russia hears about these plants and they're like, what are they doing? I'm not fucking with that. So they're gonna try to take them over. So I mean, I understand that, and it just sucks that it comes with civilian lives taken.
That's the real, like, sad part to the story. Like, it's not Putin's not out there on the front line, right?
Yeah.
If he was, that would be one thing, because then that would show he really believes in what he's doing. But, of course, he's going to just order people that he has control over. No, you go fight.
Yeah, I mean,
while he sits
the
in
Russian soldiers, like, they don't even really want to fight. Like,
I saw
there's been some Ukrainian citizens who will actually, like, kidnap almost the Russian soldiers, and to a point, like, not torture them, but we'll kind of get them, constrained, and we'll ask them, like, why are you doing this? And, they'll break down and they'll say, because my girlfriend's Ukrainian, she's from Ukraine, so she shows me a lot of these things, and she'll translate it for me live in real time. And she's like, this kid's only 19, the soldier. He's crying. He says that he doesn't know. He says that they didn't tell us we were actually going to war. They told us we were doing something else, and then they just deployed us out. Like, the soldiers are not behind it. And so they're the ones that, like, those Russian soldiers also, as everybody's getting so mad at the Russian military for what they're doing and stuff, rightfully so in some cases, but those Russian soldiers, they don't want to be out there.
It's not like they're
more than, the Ukrainian soldiers, because the Russian soldiers are out there, like, they're dying too for something that they don't full-heartedly believe in.
And it's not like they're out there with their cell phones checking Twitter every 2 minutes. They don't really know what they're doing.
No.
Like, you might have your orders, and if like, even I imagine even in our military, if you ask them, like your staff sergeant or somebody, what are we doing? He might just yell at you and tell you to shut the hell up and get back to formation.
Get in line, yeah.
So you don't even know what you're doing until it happens.
Right. You're just a number, like, at that point, like, a part of a unit, of a bigger collective, and you all have a mission.
And I saw
that mission is given to you from a government, higher power, and you just have to be part of that unit, so. And
I saw a video
sad.
I saw a video of a Ukrainian soldier that was captured by Russian soldiers. And they gave him a cigarette, lit it up for him.
Yeah.
They took off all of his, like, gear and everything. And they just talked, and they were just like, both sides were just kind of like, this is bullshit.
Well, even the people of Russia, like, the mass majority, they're protesting out in the streets to stop the war.
I saw those pictures.
And those people in Russia are getting taken to jail, beat by the Russian police in the street for protesting against the war.
Yeah, it's just sad to see.
Children, like, there's children, ages 10, 11, are protesting with little signs and got taken, put in paddy wagons.
It's just
by the police.
It's just really sad to see. I don't know. I like peace.
Yeah, we're not politicians.
Simple as
Never
that.
claim to be. We don't really have a solution, but
right.
We don't want to see anybody get hurt, any bloodshed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's obviously is the best case scenario, but life doesn't always work that way.
And that kind of takes it to another level of, like, are we past a point of fighting each other, on the ground, like, with guns? Because if Russia is a nuclear threat, which we know, the United States is a nuclear threat, which we know, at what point is this no longer a battle on the ground, and is it just people in an office, with their thumb on the big red button, and it's like a fake out, like, oh, who's going to click it first,
Yeah.
You can't help but wonder as we progress along if, we're going to just blow ourselves off the map, honestly.
It's gonna be another nuclear Cold War, and I think it's coming soon. We're either gonna figure our shit out, or Jesus is going to come back. Or we're going to blow everyone to oblivion and it's going to be an apocalypse.
Yep, it might be time for it. I feel like it's funny.
Get
all
your
this,
storm shelters ready.
All this happening takes me back.
All the apocalypse preppers.
Yes,
that's to be ready.
10 years ago, I remember watching the Doomsday Preppers on, like National Geographic or the Discovery Channel and going like, man, those guys are nuts. And all of a sudden, I found myself thinking within the past few months, like, they were right the whole time. They're geniuses, They are the only ones that are really looking around like, I told you so. I told you it was going to happen, and I've got, 6 years worth of rations in my secret bunker. Like, they're not even sweating as much right now.
My grandpa has a bunker in their house, and they're up in the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not saying what state, but they're in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, and their bunker's in the woods, so I'm chilling, big dog. I'm going straight there.
Real quick, before we get to, what do y'all think about YouTube taking a video down? Why do you think that is? And also, like,
it's got Donald
Trump's
Trump's
part of YouTube.
It's got Donald Trump's name on it.
Out of control.
That's
part of YouTube.
That's a big part of it. I know that basically anything that is Donald Trump related gets taken down and censored. I mean, they kicked him off Twitter. Anything that's involves him on YouTube is taken down. It's honestly kind of scary because it'd be different if it was one platform doing this, but it seems to be across the board. So there's obviously some people behind this that are trying to control the narrative, that we hear, and that to me that's frightening.
I think it's. I honestly, I know we're not politicians. I think it's Biden's administration. I feel like they have a little task force and a little office somewhere in D.C. just taking down all of this stuff and talking to corporations to end their sponsorship and take them off their site.
Did you watch the full thing?
Yes, I watched the entire.
Did they talk to me about? Cause I didn't get to watch it all. So I actually got on YouTube. I see it's premiering, so I was like watching it live as it premiered. Watched for like 10, 15 minutes. Like, all right, I'll watch it later. Come back to watch it later, and it's removed. But so did they get into like COVID? Because I know YouTube's strict. Like if you say anything about, if you voice your opinion about COVID, and it's anything.
I'm gonna have to bleep out you saying COVID.
Yeah, for real. If it's anything,
you can call it a bear bug.
Yeah.
The spicy flu.
Right. So, and if you have like a opinion that differs, not even saying like don't wear a mask, not even like a strong right-sided opinion, but
anything that goes against the narrative.
Yeah, and not even a right-sided, left-sided opinion, whatever you want to call it. Anything that goes against their narrative, they will definitely just take it down.
So to tie into what you said, so they do, or at least I saw on the Nelk Boys YouTube, they have the video uploaded on their website. I haven't double-checked that, but they said it's on there. And the big talking point, it was about halfway through the interview, because I didn't watch the whole thing. And Trump is basically saying, like, watch and see what happens. Like, wait and see. Like, they're basically, someone of a higher power is basically going to contact you guys and tell you that this has to come down not so nicely. And they were basically like, no, we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep it up. We're not going to let them, bully us from taking this down. And they have, like, a little clip on their YouTube channel where they're basically just like, YouTube deleted it. Like we just got on and it was off. It was taken off the air, and basically little to no explanation by YouTube other than it violated YouTube policy essentially. So no, they didn't go into depth really. They made it seem like YouTube just went ahead and took it upon themselves to go ahead and just cancel that, to cut it off. Which is weird. It's awfully weird.
That's so cool though that the Nelk Boys got their own website, their own platform now. They can't be censored or whatever the case may be, and they can just post, the whole video. Because a lot of their content nowadays really is bordering on not YouTube content.
I think
they've had a history of getting strikes on YouTube for their content.
I think that these big creators that really just don't give a shit, it's gonna usher in the age of paying for websites, and like they're already bringing in a bunch of that stuff where you have to pay for like
Patreon is that one.
My favorite podcast,
like uncensored content.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite podcasts, The King and the Sting, is with Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn, with the mullet. One of my favorite comedians. Him and Brendan Schaub, former UFC guy. So I've been watching them for literally about 2.5, 3 years. Like all their podcasts on Spotify. I normally listen to it at work, but I watch them too. Yeah. And they joke, and it's just funny. You get some UFC content mixed with some hilarious jokes, and I've got a lot of my podcast ideas kind of from watching them over the years. I'll go to watch them Friday. I click on the video, and I'm like actually in the shower when I put it on. 5 minutes go by, the video's off. I'm like, is that an ad or something. I get out to skip the ad, video's over. And it says in the bio, video and Patreon. They literally took all, like they used to do it on Spotify and YouTube every Friday for free. Now they're doing it on Patreon, you have to pay for it. Like a podcast that I've listened to since day one, I'm not going to pay for this shit, you know? It's like...
It is unfortunate because YouTube, especially like a couple years ago, was just like, that was its peak to me. Like that's when there was little to no censorship. It seemed like it's all free, minus the ads you have to watch, of course.
And peak of Fortnite really helped peak YouTube.
The ads weren't even like as bad as they are now. Like
it
was just like maybe one ad every like 3 videos.
You're right. It was less. There was a lot
2
less
ads on each video, and some of them are like you can't skip.
Can't skip, and they're like 30 seconds.
I heard you have to pay more to get an ad. It's not skippable, obviously. Like you can pay for an ad like on a video, and you get skipped. But if you wanted to pay more, people have to sit there and watch your 20-second ad. Is what I've heard from people that do ads.
Insane.
Yeah.
Which is sad to see because YouTube is such a great platform. I mean, that's what
you're seeing it on right now.
Yeah, and that's what inspired me to even get into the podcast space because I watched predominantly Joe Rogan on YouTube, and that's like was my favorite podcast to watch. You know.
Can you think for a second? What's like I'm talking like go back to like middle school. Was there podcast that what's the earliest podcast you ever remember? Even maybe like early high school.
That's a good
question. Is podcast like a new thing? Because Rogan, you see clips of his from way back in the day. We didn't actually know about it then. Like, was there any podcast that we knew of?
I feel like it's sort of new.
I think it's a new space too. Like last 5-6 years.
It definitely. I feel like it's gained popularity. I mean, I'm sure it was going on back then, but I don't ever. I feel like the first podcast I remember actually in depth watching was the Joe Rogan podcast, and that was probably 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I kind of wondered like who kind of started. I think maybe podcasts came from like, I watched First Take or Undisputed with Skip and Shannon and all that, and then they upload those episodes to something, and it's kind of like maybe it stemmed from that. But I just wonder who was the first person to think, let's get on a mic and just talk for a while for 2 hours and.
So the first thing that just popped into my head was like watching the news. They have multiple anchors sitting there at their table. They got the lights, the camera, everything. And, I mean, in a way, that is almost like a podcast.
Since the 1800s.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a podcast, maybe some people think of it more as like just something just audio, whereas maybe with the video, that's sort of like a different space. But, I mean, people have always listened to,
Also, I think
conversations.
Podcasts, people don't think of it as something that's live, really, like something that's, you can go down, you can download it, or like news is more live. Something, but I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know. That's something we almost...
What was the earliest ever podcast?
Have to see the origins of podcasting. Because it is relatively new. Yeah. I mean...
That's kind of something that I recommend you guys especially, but anybody that likes YouTube content creation, Mr. Beast on Joe Rogan, and he talks about like a lot of stuff about that. And he goes into depth about like a bunch of the dynamics of YouTube, how to get clicks, how to get likes, breaking down the... what's it called?
Algorithm
of YouTube. Because that's all he's ever done. He's never watched South Park. He's never watched any movies. Like, if you ask him something, you ever seen Forrest Gump? He'll say, is that on YouTube? Like, literally, Mr. Beast, he'll admit it. He indulged his whole life to YouTube. And he said he'll sit there and, like, watch the biggest videos. How many times do they cut camera angles, like, per second? How many speakers do they have in the video? What angles do they like? And he would super dissect it, like micro dissect it, these big videos. And now you look, he's the biggest YouTuber, arguably of all time.
Yeah.
The #1 ranked YouTuber in the last 2 years.
And the main takeaway I remember getting from him, which I didn't watch the Joe Rogan one, which I will go back and watch. Mm-hmm. But it was on another someone else's channel, or even his own. He was basically saying that he reinvests 100% of what he makes. He basically said that he hasn't taken hardly a dime from what he's made on YouTube. He just reinvested in the next video, makes the money, reinvested in the next video, which is how he's able to do like the Squid Games episode, which
I gave someone an island.
All the circle episodes.
Gave someone an island.
$1 million island.
Giving cars away. Yeah, the $1 million island. Like the amount of money that he's putting into these videos is rivaling like some of the biggest networks. And
I feel like
it's amazing.
I feel like he uses his YouTube money to reinvest, but doesn't he? He has merch, doesn't he?
That's true.
But
different avenues he makes
but
money probably
everything,
to
but like,
pay his bills.
like,
Yeah.
What was I about to say? Dang, I just want to go
I
ahead.
mean, obviously he's gonna spend his money, but
Oh, what I was gonna say was he even said on Rogan that he was living in some small little like 2-3 bedroom house
Yeah.
and drove a little a little beater. The only reason he moved to a nicer house because he got broken into, and they robbed. And he was like, okay, now I see why celebrities move to nicer houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, if it wasn't for security purposes, I would live there. He's like I don't buy expensive clothes, or he's like, I don't like to view my life as getting the next cool car or upgrading the box that I live in.
Yeah.
Which everybody likes to upgrade, the box they live in, which is the house. But he likes to go out and do things, help people out, which is inspiration. Because Mr. Beast, he doesn't have a YouTube personality. He's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
He's sometimes cringe.
He
and
is. He is kind of weird on camera sometimes.
You can tell he's kind of maybe a little bit self-conscious and stuff, but he pushed through all that. And like they said, if you would have seen him at 12, like solo, like kind of how he is now, but even more awkward, you'd say, I'll bet $1 million trillion you'll never be a famous YouTuber. But he just literally microanalyzed it 10 hours.
But his content is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really is. Like, his content, I feel like little kids see his YouTube videos and they're like, wow, that's cool. I feel like we can watch it at 20-something, watch his videos and go, wow, that's cool.
Joe Rogan is what, 49 or something?
50,
He's watching it and saying, wow, that's cool.
That's cool.
I literally always stumble upon a couple of his videos. Like, I like when he takes a lot of things and tries to break something. Like, he'll go like, well, 200 fans blow a car, and
something like that, yeah.
And then he just got one of my favorite ones is the megaphone video, where he takes like 100 megaphones and tries to break glass, and it's just really loud video.
Yeah, I just like this, like the Rogan podcast, because he literally gives you free game if you want to like become something in the influencer industry. Like, people are paying courses for this, and here's the #1 YouTuber arguably ever giving you free game. Like, if you listen to it, bro, like he'll say that you could put in 500 times the amount of effort on a video, or you could put in like literally 50% of that effort, and just if you have a better idea, it's all about the idea. Like the title, the clip, get people to click on it. It's not even about putting in so much effort on it, but just having a good idea. Like, that's literally 90% of it. It's just having something that people would watch, something to click on.
Yeah.
And then everything else comes behind it, But you got some free game, dude.
I'll be tuning in. Shout out Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So also, I got something, a little goofy debate for you guys that's been circulating the web recently, tearing up TikTok.
Oh, I think I know what this is.
Facebook.
I think I know what this is.
What are there more of in the world?
Doors or wheels? Oh my god.
So that's the question. What are there? Doors or
See, that's the
wheels?
thing. Are car doors counted? Are barn doors counted?
Yeah.
Wheels.
So just doors in general.
All doors.
Or wheels in
Gotta
general.
be wheels. Gotta be wheels.
I'm gonna be honest. That's a hard question. I'm gonna have to say.
I've gone back and forth this for.
I'm gonna have to say they can't be
that far apart.
They can't be that far apart. That's what I want to say. I want to say it can't be like.
I said wheels.
I'm saying there's no way
wheels,
there's twice as many as one as the other. As I think of it, it's like there seems like that could even out almost. But if I had to guess, God, that's in the whole world.
Yeah.
Not just America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doors or wheels, bro.
Because see, now I'm thinking of like third world countries where people are living in,
Huts.
shacks, and don't have doors. It's just an open fucking frame.
Do they have bikes, skateboards, scooters?
That's a good point. I'm gonna have to go with wheels.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like when I think
Gotta
of
be.
third world countries, I think of there being cars, but not necessarily as many doors. I imagine more openings. So that's my vote. I'm going with
18 wheelers have 18 wheels and one, maybe 2 doors.
I think that instead
Cars
of
do
the
have
government's
doors.
taking a census of people, they didn't take a census of doors and wheels.
Yeah. I mean,
So is there?
look at this. I tried to look it up. Look
Okay,
at this
that's what I was
video.
gonna ask.
It's at UPS.
All the little roller wheels,
right?
all the little roller
And this is
wheels.
in every wing outside on the dock. Those are all.
I know what
wheels,
you're
right?
talking about.
P works here too.
So for
So,
the viewers, there's in this video there's probably what.
I mean, and then all the UPS.
You just showed me 1,000 wheels in that video, right? So how
Pretty
many
much.
wheels are in UPS similar to the same ones you just?
I'd say probably close to 60, 75,000.
And that's
maybe
probably
more because there's outdoor docks. There's I'd say 100,000.
Indoor wheels too.
100,000 wheels.
So they're gonna
Plus,
be,
you have all the
there's
little
tugs.
carts and the
There's
tugs.
tugs
And
and vans driving around.
so there could be potentially hundreds of thousands of wheels just at UPS
easily
International Airport.
200,000 wheels right there.
And there's probably definitely there's a lot of doors at UPS.
There's a lot
but
of doors.
You would argue it's probably less than that. That's a good one. That's kind of reminds me of
So we're all team wheels.
that reminds me of a question, like an interview question, and it's in New York City. How many windows are there?
Somebody asked you that in an interview?
Well, it's like I've seen online before. It's like that's like an interview question, to prove critical thinking. So I'm asking you right now, how many windows do you think there are in New York City? If you just had to guess.
How many windows do I think?
Couple
there are in
mil.
New York City?
Couple million,
Yeah, a couple mil.
right? What would you say?
I mean, I would say less than 1 million. I would say.
Cap. Oh, big New York is?
Yeah, you might be right.
Nah, not even a couple.
I mean,
I would say like 4 to 5
Is there an
million,
answer?
bro.
Is there an answer?
That's
I don't know if
lot.
there is technically an answer, but the whole point of the question is if someone says, couple hundred, or you know they're an idiot right away, right? If someone says something like, well, they're sitting there a million, they at least can
Because I've been to
think
New York.
critically, right?
I've been to New York like 4 or 5 times.
I mean, I think it was skyscrapers.
That is
I mean,
huge.
a
They're
huge skyscraper. How many windows does it have? One?
Now I'm thinking like 10 mil.
I'm thinking, 10, 15 mil. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah, so I just got proved to be an idiot on that one. I'm like, is it a mil? I'm just trying to. I was overthinking it. I'm like, it might be like
Because
859,000 or
Right,
something like
right.
that shit.
Because I've been to New York a couple times, and I've been to every bureau. It's
Borough.
huge. Borough, not bureau.
Yeah.
We're not working for
I'm in the second
Kentucky
borough.
Farm. We're not working for
What
Kentucky
did,
Farm.
Bureau of Investigation. That's
What did Jack say? I'm in New York. I got 5 chicks, 1 in each borough.
Yeah.
In my pocket like borough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Jack.
Yes,
Happy
yeah.
24th birthday to.
Oh, yeah, it's
Louisville
today.
Native.
Is it really?
Jack
Yeah.
Harlow.
Happy
Jack
birthday,
Harlow.
Jack.
Get better music, man.
Nah, he's.
I'm just kidding.
Here I was about to say, let's manifest him on the podcast,
Right,
and,
that's
then,
what I'm
I'm
and then
kidding.
Preston takes
I
a
was
dig on
kidding.
it. We don't mean
I
that,
was
Jack. Right?
kidding.
Jack's
Two
easy.
out of 3, we're supporters. All right.
Whoa, hey! I was just talking about listening to his old shit earlier.
Hey,
Dude, I love his
my
old
favorite
albums,
song
though.
from Jack Harlow is Hitchcock.
Watching
Mine-
Hitchcock
mine-
still on TikTok.
Mine is probably
Yeah, I
the
like
one
it.
I always go back to. Is
He dropped that in like 2015.
Eastern Parkway.
Yeah.
I'm on
That's the
Eastern
one.
Parkway,
Through these
flying on a carpet.
them
through the
yellow lights, I'm sliding on the way to her apartment.
Hey, hear me?
Love it.
Sundown, the first thing
me
that
and
caught,
Logan, we hit
got him signed.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
was
we
big,
hit
man.
that Jack Harlow show down on the waterfront. And
Ooh.
He brings out Bryson Tiller's surprise guest.
Fantastic show.
ESTG was there before he was popping.
Yep.
Blasian came out and did a song.
That was
Yep.
a hell of a show. Need to
I
go
was
back.
there
And
actually.
then we went up on the roof after that. We were drinking some beers, looking down on the city and stuff.
You said you were there?
He did the same thing at Forecastle too.
Mm.
When he didn't have like main stage, he was.
When is Forecastle?
I actually got my
this
tickets.
was just like
and
a
it's
random
in, like,
waterfront
April.
Wednesday, wasn't it?
A month? I'm debating on getting tickets.
It's in like April or March.
God.
No, it might be.
Might be further. How much are tickets to Forecastle?
Like 150, 200.
For how many days?
All three.
That's so worth it.
Bro, did y'all
That's
see
so
the Rolling Loud lineup?
No.
It's insane.
Oh yeah, I saw it. It's
Look up real quick the Dreamville Fest. My brother got tickets to this. He's going. So Dreamville, that's J. Cole's
Let's see who does it
label.
quicker. Let's see who does it quicker.
So that's obviously J. Cole, JID. I don't know if you're familiar with JID.
I did it.
Low.
Oh, I don't have your Wi-Fi. Fuck, Logan.
Yes.
No.
Got
You're that Dreamville
No.
Fest lineup. Yeah,
I
Brady.
ain't even logged in. I can do it on my phone.
We'll
but
get Preston the Wi-Fi password for that.
I'm hurt, man.
Yeah, he'll get it.
So
Man, that's hurt.
Dreamville is April 2nd, April 3rd.
I bet they're gonna
Yeah,
have
so
like
we
the
did-
baby
Yeah,
there.
click
Tell
on
me
that
look
one
at the
right there.
lineup.
Well, obviously
Is that
JID.
And where's it at again?
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's where he's from.
So they got
The
they
baby.
got
like,
Lil Baby,
Ooh.
J. Cole, Luke, T-Pain, Wale, Lil Wayne is in the building with Jeezy,
Man.
T.I. They got, of course, the whole Dreamville, like Ari Lennox, Boz, JID, Loot. Is that Moneybag Yo?
Man.
Right here.
Yep.
That's
Moneybag
actually-
Yo.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That sounds
'cause
fire.
I'm thinking Dreamville, it's just going to be like J. Cole, JID, the Dreamville cast. They're bringing Wayne, T.I., Jeezy.
T-Pain.
T-Pain.
So I can't help but feel like the Rolling Loud lineup is probably going to be
fat.
A lot
It's-
better.
It's
crazy,
fat,
right?
bro.
So
It's
I went to
fat.
Rolling Loud.
Yeah, talk about that for a second.
Honestly, I'm blanking on the year. I want to say
2017?
yeah, 27. I want to say yeah, maybe right out of high school, 2017, and I can honestly say that was
Or 2018? I remember when you came back. That was when Kim moved into the apartment.
There you go. So 2018 I went, and that was when that was right in the height of like the Lil Pump era, right? Because I remember, I specifically remember, Lil Pump comes on, and I remember being like, Lil Pump, like what a joke, you know? Gucci Gang comes on, literally, or one like that. The entire crowd, you would have thought, came for Lil Pump. I mean, every single person is fucking Gucci Gang dancing. The way that he got the crowd involved, it turned me into a Lil Pump fan. Honestly, that day, like it was crazy. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I would have to experience that environment because I don't like Lil Pump at all. A lot of that comes from. I don't hate him. I mean, he's a young dude doing his thing. Well, I don't like his music.
That's what I'm getting at. You would never listening to it with headphones. No, but when I'm telling you, being in a Lil Pump concert. With his simple ass lyrics that everyone knows, it just creates like certain everyone's into it, you know.
Dude looks like he's like 32 at like 18.
Yeah. He looks a little.
But my dislike comes from him from being a huge J. Cole fan. He's at his show chanting "Fuck J. Cole."
That was weird. That was weird.
All that shit.
Well, yeah. I went.
Good for him. He made a lot of money.
All right. So the 2022 Rolling Loud is this? Is that supposed to be Kanye?
Kanye.
So the main headliners are Kanye, Future, Kendrick Lamar,
which everybody's hoping he's gonna put some music out.
And Rolling Loud is a 3-day event, so they typically like Friday they have they'll have like a couple main acts and then they space it out Saturday. So just to name a couple others, just honorable mentions here. We got Playboi Carti, Lil Durk, 2 Chainz, and then we got Lil Uzi Vert, Gunna, DaBaby, Gucci Mane, Lil TJ. Shout out Lil TJ. And then we got Lil Baby, Kodak Black. Trippie Redd, they got.
Man, that's gonna be crazy.
They have a crazy lineup list, and the way they trick you as well is the actual.
See half of them, though.
Well, the actual lineup is not going to be this many people. They've got probably 70 fucking artists. I'm looking at right here on the 2022. A lot of them will cancel. So I don't know how Rolling Loud gets away with it because they did the same shit to us, where we're sitting here looking at this list and we're like, dude, this is like. Every artist we've ever listened to, they're all going to be here.
Dude, that's what I think when I see these lineups.
And then we get down there, and it literally probably is half of what it had.
Yeah.
Because, this is such and such canceled. So I remember specifically waiting on a certain stage for Lil Wayne. Because I'm like, this is my chance. I'm going to get to see Lil Wayne live in concert.
Childhood hero.
I've listened to him since I was a little kid. I waited at that stage for probably 30 minutes, right?
After rain?
It may have been raining that day. One day it did rain. I forget if it was raining or not. Shit. But I waited by myself. Like my friends are at a different stage. I'm there for 30 minutes, just looking around. Like I'm gonna get to hear Wayne. All of a sudden, some stagehand comes out. We're sorry to say that Lil Wayne couldn't make it here today. He had something come up. And I remember just like no one even gave a fuck. Like all the other people were just like, whatever. I'm back talking. I was so let down. Like my head dropped. I was like. I'll never see Lil Wayne live. Like that was it, And
we gotta get this man Lil to see Lil Wayne.
Hey, let's try to go, man. Because that Lil Wayne, I mean, I put Wayne up there with like Eminem. Like it's just the top, like influential top rappers. Like for me at least growing up. I don't know how y'all feel.
I like a lot of Lil Wayne over Eminem. Honestly, growing up.
It's an argument you could make definitely.
Oh, definitely.
I kind of want to have a whole maybe like a portion of our podcast one day to talk about that because. I could talk about that for a long time.
We should do a rappers and hip hop podcast.
My thing is, I would love that. Soon. That is coming soon. We're gonna get that in the books.
Let's do that. We'll designate a full episode or close to one.
And I'll say this, and then we'll leave.
Just do it next episode.
Next episode.
Next episode.
I'll say
Look
this.
out! We're gonna do a rappers episode. We're gonna talk about music. We're gonna talk about everything.
Title: Lil Wayne versus Eminem.
Yep.
We do that all
That'll be our main discussion.
Next episode.
So I'll just say this little nugget, and then I'll save it for next week. But I think honestly, like there's a lot of talk about greatest of all time. It's all subjective, which is the same case with sports. I think you have to put Wayne, if not 1, 2, just because of body of work, longevity, 25 years. He got signed at 11 years old. He's been in the game for longer than these rappers have been alive. Like he's been putting out albums. He's longer than I've been alive. He's literally the feature GOAT, right? I mean, who's the feature GOAT?
Don't go too into it. Save it. But you're right. You're right. I mean, what you just said, Lil Wayne is if he's not in your top 5, like you're bugging.
He really.
Agree with that,
so we'll save it. We'll save that. So.
But
that'll be a good.
Yeah, that'll be a good.
We can really get into that.
I think I had another thing I wanted to talk about.
Well, before you say that, I was going to talk about. I went to Fort Castle, 2019. Forecastle Fest is in downtown Louisville every year except last year because of COVID.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Fuck that. But so I went and Anderson .Paak was there. He was the headliner on one of the days, and then it was a couple other rock bands because it's not just rap at Forecastle, which I love about that because they had Nelly on one stage and some punk rock band on another stage, and they got DJs on another area. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I still have videos on my phone of before, like right after Jack Harlow surprised everybody on stage, on the main stage. Mm-hmm. He went over to the DJ stand and he was just dancing to like Chief Keef and whatever, and it was really cool. He was just taking people's phones, taking pictures.
Yeah, have y'all seen him? He's on vacation right now in Turks and Caicos with Drake. He's on vacation.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Really
I saw the video on his IG the other day.
They're like booed up,
like sniffing Drake.
Like
and
he
shit.
was like sniffing Drake, like low-key like kissing her, like booed up with Drake, bro.
Oh my
and Drake's like fucking with him like besties type vibes.
I love
Drake's
it.
Up there,
I cannot wait until they get something out, man.
Yeah,
I'm hoping
that would be a banger. Yeah, that would really get.
Because I think Jack is like to work with a legend like that. He's gonna step up and put out his best material if he's going on track with Drake.
Absolutely.
And I think Drake, which he's always been, which is why Drake is still relevant. He always hops onto what's hot, what's trendy, what's new. Jack's obviously up and coming. Drake pops in with him. He gets a whole new.
You know, Nail Tech.
That's what keeps him.
You know, Nail Tech
relevant.
had 30 million listens after the first week.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, you see these guys come up like JB Blockboy.
Yeah.
He made one big song, right? And he
With
does that
Drake.
song with he did that. He had Rova ride.
Motherfucking.
So Drake was like, oh, he's big right now. I'm gonna do that song, Look Alive, with him. Blockboy gets up, Drake gets his bag, and then he's like, all right, whatever. Blockboy haven't heard from him since. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Same thing with Dirk. Like Dirk is a great artist.
That's why he's never
I know
had
Logan
anything
used to
with
listen to
YK
Dirk
or Cyrus.
growing up a lot and stuff.
Listen to some
He's
Dirk.
been in the game for 10, 15 years, but he's never sold well commercially. Like 25, 30,000 first week sales.
Yeah.
He got that song with Drake that sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, you know, and Dirk was on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring Drake to the hood, around Drake, you know what I'm saying? Huge song, went number 1.
Yep.
Dirk's selling like 120 now. Like his streams went up 20K or 20x
No, who's
after doing
gonna-
that one and his feature on that Drake song was literally from start to finish 30 seconds long.
Yep.
And just being on that song took him
We
to
do
a
not listen to
whole
Lil
nother
Boy in the
artist.
club because we don't listen to rats.
Yeah. I mean, fire verse. One of the verses of the year for only 30 seconds.
Absolutely. And another person that I think that's going to get a lot of that recognition and has something with Drake coming up, I think, Nardo Wick.
I don't like Naruto. That's just my opinion, but he's hot.
He's a Florida boy, man.
Yeah,
He's a Florida boy.
He makes some like.
I might be getting some Forecastle tickets.
Who's on there? Let me say this real quick.
Yeah, so honestly, the only people that really jump out to me right off the gate is Jack Harlow
Tame.
and then Tyler the Creator. I mean,
Tame
that's like
Impala's
the two.
gas. You don't know about Tame Impala?
I don't.
The homies are playing
You
too.
love Tame Impala.
The homies are they're in private
Tame
garden.
Impala's a
They're pretty
vibe. Do you listen to Tame Impala?
Mm-mm.
I'm not the biggest Tame Impala fan. I know about 5 of their songs. All of them, bro. Vibe.
Oh, and then Oliver Tree. I just think he's funny. Like,
Yeah.
Just one song is all
Who's
I
he?
think of. That he's the one that has the Life Goes On. You know that one. It's like a newer.
Oh, I
With
seen
the Island
that
Boys
dude.
in the music video.
I seen him on freaking Impulsive the other day.
Yeah, he's like a
This
famous.
dude's
he's
like
like an
wearing
influencer
like a
type.
blonde wig.
Yeah, he'd be
and
on
like
some
a
stupid
cowboy
shit.
hat
Completely
and stuff
stupid
like
with
that.
the bowl cut, strong ass bowl cut. Like,
Yeah.
All right, so before we get to our next segment, I want to go ahead and put in a quick little intermission, and we'll be right
We gotta
back.
restart the camera as well, right?
That's the intermission.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Good
catch.
job, Nick.
Yeah.
So, Nick, you said you had something in mind. We're back. Sorry.
And we are back from the short break. So, guys, I had a story that I saw online this week on Twitter about a local woman winning the lottery here, here in Louisville.
Did not
And the
hear
story is
about
from WOKY. It says, if you won thousands of dollars in the lottery, how long would it take you to claim it? Evidently, after this Louisville woman, she waited for a whole year. So she won $100,000 on a scratch-off. And this was at the Cock Smokers outlet on Shelbyville Road.
I know where that is.
Yeah,
Whoa.
we've probably been there.
That's crazy.
Right? So she wins $100K off a scratch-off. And she says, I scratch off my tickets a little differently. I'll scratch off the prize amounts first. Then when I went up to the self-ticket checker and saw you've won $100,000, I ran out to my car, locked my doors, and started screaming. So she waited a whole year, and she said her reason, she didn't want to spend it all right away. So she told the officials, like, she likes to play the lottery and typically buys all her tickets at that same store. And after taxes, she claimed $71,000. She claims to buy a condo, and she said it's like my dreams came true.
So
my question to you guys is, first off, why would you all wait a whole fucking year?
Absolutely.
Or how long would you wait? Second off, if you did win just $100K off a scratch off, what's the first couple moves you do?
So my thing is.
Were you surprised that it was only 71? Is that why you looked like that?
Yeah, because $29,000.
I mean, income tax is basically 30%, and that's how it gets billed.
Insane,
or gets
man.
taxed as income.
So honestly, I would wait around that kind of time, 8 months to a year. A lot of people, if you can see the stats, a lot of people die as soon as they win the lottery. Either they spend it all, they get robbed, or somebody kills them.
Overdose, something like that.
Exactly. So I would think adequate thinking time and for a lot of things are usually around the 6 months mark to actually think and wrap your brain around it and set a plan.
Right.
It's around 6 months. You guys agree?
Yes.
That's a good point.
So I would think I would wrap my head around it, figure out what's going on, keep living my lifestyle, working and,
day to day, same.
Exactly. Keep everything the same, and then, honestly, the first thing I would do is just invest.
Yeah.
I would rather have my money make money.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing that
try to spend it on and be flashy and.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I would want to move out and get my own place, and more security would probably be nice because you're going to be on the news.
Well,
But
you can tell them you don't have, you can be anonymous about it.
I didn't know that.
I thought they were allowed to put your information in the newspaper.
I'm pretty sure
you
you can decide if you want to be anonymous or not. Because I mean that's a fucking public security threat.
Yeah.
So, that's dangerous.
I don't know.
It is dangerous.
I'm pretty positive you can remain unanimous or whatever.
Whether you can or not, yeah, I still agree. Yeah, that is dangerous to have your name blasted.
Still, I think I would wait, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was a very rational answer. I think. So first of all, I don't play the lottery, so this is hard for me to imagine.
I don't either.
If I did happen to play the lottery that day and I won, I would probably. There's no way I would wait 6 months. I just know myself. There's no way. I would probably wait a day or two, at the very least, just to go through the roller coaster. Because the first 2-3 hours, you would just
cash it right away.
You would just spaz out. Your heart rate. You wouldn't think straight. You do some fucking crazy off the wall shit. So I know I'd wait at least a day or two. But then I would probably immediately get it. I'd get it in cash, same way the lady did. I'd get my $71,000. They can keep the rest. Fuck them. They can have their taxes.
Yeah.
I'd probably sit it in an account, and then honestly, at that point, I don't know what I would do. I would
that's when the 6 months comes in.
I would definitely try to create a plan, but to say that I would invest it all, probably not. I would definitely spend a chunk of that out the gate just for fun. But I like to think I'd set at least half of it, if not 3/4 aside, like you said, and put a real plan together. All right, this is going to retirement. This is going toward stock market. I mean, something. I like to think I'd do something with it.
The only reason I would say 6 months is because I know my family, and I know they'd be on my ear and just be like, "Be patient, chill," because I really am rational, and I go and just do, and if I had $100K just plop out of nowhere, I'm going and spending that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but I know my family and how they're around me, and they want me to take my time and be patient.
See, in my opinion, I'm super strategic and sometimes really penny pinching when it comes to my money. I don't really like to spend a lot. I'll wear the same jeans for 5, 6, 7 years. Shoes from Walmart, stuff like that. So I don't think I would have too many crazy urges to go out and just spend a lot because I don't really live that type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, I would definitely have that waiting period. But the reason why I wouldn't wait 6 to 7 months to a year, maybe inflation, bro. That's 71 right now ain't gonna be 71 next year with the way shit is now. It'd be 59.
No, I would definitely get it. I would definitely get it right out of the gate, but then put it in savings and then wait. That's what I meant.
Okay, right.
That's what I was meaning. I'm not. Why would I sit on? I would lose that motherfucking ticket.
I
would lose it.
Right.
I would lose it.
My thing. That thing would be gone within a week, bro.
Absolutely.
I mean, just imagine the way you misplace.
Bentley would eat it.
Yeah.
Misplace your keys sometimes. Imagine you misplace your $100,000 winning lottery ticket. You'd be tearing your house fucking drywall off the walls.
Yeah, that's wild to think about. Like that 71K. You wait. shit's gonna turn into 50, 45, 39,000.
Inflation, yeah.
You know, so that's why it's smart. And like they say, savers are losers. You know, you keep saving your money, you're losing money. You have to like put it into something. And that's where I struggle. Like I have a couple $1,000s invested, but it's like some money in Bitcoin, some money in crypto, some Amazon.
Could buy a couple
Amazon.
Bitcoins, honestly.
I don't know really like.
I don't know. Would you risk it and buy a Bitcoin?
I don't think I would, because that's what $40,000. That's over half of your winnings.
I think one Bitcoin is $45,000.
Yeah.
Well, right now I think it
I don't
is.
think
It's
I
like
would.
39,
I don't think I'd risk
40.
it.
Okay.
But still, $40,000. And it's like, are you sure about the future of that? Like, I haven't done enough research. Like
Well, if you look as Bitcoin first became a thing, and look at the future and how it's
right. But you can look at anything like that. And
true.
Like, that's substantial growth from nothing to what it is now compared to how much growth is it from now to the end. It could be like when it hits 69. That who knows? That could have been Bitcoin's peak.
Could have. The Bitcoin to me seems kind of dangerous. Yeah, it seems like the safe bet to put that money would be in some form of a mutual fund in the stock market that even if it's not going to grow crazy, you're not going to just go to zero.
You're not going to lose it.
Yeah, you're going to
progressively
make a slight gain on it every year. It's going to at least match inflation. You're never going to lose that money. But
don't try to become a day trader overnight.
Right? Yeah, that would be the thing. Quit your job.
Or try to become a day trader, because I think if you actually like studied that stuff and like dedicated the time 10 hours of your day into the laptop and learned it, and you could make so much.
And you had a startup, that would be great. But if you had that startup and you actually studied it before you tried to spend all of it, then
and a lot of it's not even really studying. A lot of it's just trial and error. Get out there and test the waters.
Yeah, I wouldn't gamble big first. I would go. What would you start with? Like, I would say maybe $5,000.
See, that's where shout out Sean Meredith. He was a day trader a few years ago, and he was making money. I remember, but we were in high school at the time, and he was like, basically, I'm focused on my school, my studies. I'm not going to sit here and
36 ACT.
Yeah, mind you, 36 on the ACT, natural born genius. We will have him on this podcast. I think he'd be a nice guest.
Oh yeah.
But he basically said, in order to do that and do it properly, you better wake up and basically breathe, sleep, and eat the stock market.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're doing anything else, it's like that's going to get in the way. So you can't go to school and do it. You can't,
That's what I was saying. You have to dedicate 10 to 12 hours daily, maybe more.
Yeah.
But that's daily.
Minimum of probably 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, if you even want to touch that money. Because that'd be so hard to do.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to do,
Yeah.
But.
Great episode.
Let us know what you guys would do with the money, and if you would wait, if you blow it to be a big baller and wear all your Gucci.
And what would you spend it on at that? What would you spend $71,000 on if you would spend it right away?
Y'all getting a couple Bitcoins, or y'all just gonna go cash out? Let us know in the comments, man.
But yeah, great podcast, you guys. Thank you guys again for watching and listening. We love bringing this to y'all. It's been a blast.
Yes, sir.
Good
and
to see
as
my boys
always,
again.
P. Moore, Logan Brown, Nick J.
L's
Our
up.
Town Podcast.
L's
the
up.
people's favorite podcast.
L's up if you even a Cats fan. We out it.
So this just in. We're about to wrap the podcast up, but it looks like Tom Brady has just announced via Instagram that he is coming back for another season in Tampa Bay.
Let's go!
Tom Brady's back.
Yes! Crazy. I am a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, and I've been praying for this day.
Let me read.
I am so excited.
Let me read Tom's post. These past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. That time will come, but it is not now. I love my teammates. I love my family. Without them, none of this is possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa. We have unfinished business. Let's fucking go.
Yes! Let's go! Oh my God.
How old is he?
He's 45.
45?
Is he? Right?
That's a.
Oh my
How
God.
old is he? Let's just confirm that, because that's incredible. I thought he was.
Oh yes.
I would have bet you $100.
Thank you, baby Jesus.
Tom's bag, man.
Oh, I was
44.
so upset because
44. So
we were gonna
He'll
They were
turning-
talking about getting Jimmy G, but like that's not Tom Brady.
He'll be 45 in August, so he'll be 45 playing
I'm so
in the
excited.
NFL. As
I am-
the fucking
I
highest,
I am
damn near highest
so glad you just stopped and told me that.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Oh, I'm glad.
That's the title. Tom Brady's back.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, the very end, bro.
We talked about
You gotta be good
some
at
real
yelling,
shit.
Tom Brady's back.
You're stretching, getting ready to get back on the field, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, shit.
Shout
We
out
were
Tom.
gonna fucking
We're about to leave.
Yeah, we're about to dip, and then Nick says, "Hold on, turn it back on."
Hell of an ending. Hell of an ending to the podcast, man. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. One
For
more
Tom
I can
Brady.
throw out there real
Go
quick.
Bucks, baby. Go
Real
Bucks.
quick.
Then we're
Toss
gonna
it
have
out.
Connor
Toss it
back.
out.
Are y'all at all into this Kanye and Pete Davidson thing going on?
Not
Y'all heard
really.
anything
Not
about
really.
it?
So I watched the music video that
I
Kanye
haven't.
released.
I
All right,
haven't.
you should watch the music video. The
Yeah.
music video is hella creepy. If I was Pete Davidson, I would just break up with Kim. There's no way I'm fucking. I
you
mean,
say that and then you're laying in bed
With Kim Kardashian snuggled up against
yeah,
her.
until her fucking kids
Did you
are
see-
running through chirping
Did you
at
see
you.
the text today? So there's text that got released today. Pete was chirping Kanye and cussed at him like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Kanye says, "Oh, you using profanity? Where you at right now?" Pete sends a pic like this. He says, "I'm in bed with your wife."
Dude, he's gonna get smacked for this. Like,
And in one side of it, I was like, okay, I see Pete, like whatever, Kanye salty ex, but I heard Mac Miller used to date Ariana Grande.
Yep.
Pete Davidson kind of stole Ariana Grande, was sending pictures of them two in bed to Mac,
whoa.
and
Mac.
that sent Mac down a
ended up-
bad path. I'm not saying that led to his death.
Well,
but
yeah.
they
But a
say
lot of
he was
people
really
speculated
depressed.
that it was Ariana's.
I gotta say, Pete's got a lot of balls
Yeah.
to do this for one, and I know he's probably doing it just for the
clout, man.
But Kanye West is like
Not somebody to fuck
not
with.
someone to fuck with. Not even on someone he's gonna come shoot him in broad daylight. But Kanye West is a very intelligent and powerful person.
He can get
As
you-
crazy as he is,
He could. He's
He's
smart.
smart.
He's smart though. So Kanye's probably already thinking 5 steps ahead. Like, how am I gonna not only embarrass him, but how am I gonna ruin him? Like, so to me, that's not even worth the fucking risk.
I think
Like,
Kanye's smart when it comes to like the art. I don't think he's smart when it comes to the social to like the. I think Pete has him beat in this game.
man,
in this social media texting back and forth game, Pete's more cut out for this. He's like a comedian, SNL. Like Kanye, he's kind of delusional because he feels like he's God tier, which he is with his music, and he kind of can hide behind a facade of a beat and lyrics and an album cover. But when it comes to like that's what Pete does for a living is goes up on stage.
I feel like
He's more cut out for this than Kanye.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are viewing Kanye as salty, and I mean I understand because like it fucking sucks that you and your wife get divorced.
dude, that's sick.
Like a month and a half later,
And your
she's
kids are
boning
in
some
the house.
some
That's
skinny
the-
ass white boy.
Some
That would
drug
suck.
head. Did
Yeah.
you see the videos of like him and Machine Gun Kelly? They're both like naked in their boxers, like, and they got like shit in their mouth, like pouring champagne on each other, like, and you're like, dude, this dude is over it with my wife, and it's
And
just,
my children.
I'm
I
team.
don't know.
I'm team Kanye. I actually think Kanye is a genius. Personally, there's
Creative genius,
he's
yes.
on Joe Rogan podcast, like an hour and a half,
I've
2 hours.
I've seen that episode.
If you watch that episode, or at least when I watched it, it gave me a newfound respect for Kanye because it really showed how, like, he's playing chess basically. Like, he's really thinking ahead with shit.
Literally, as crazy as that guy can be, I will always support Kanye. I always, I
You gotta watch
love
the
how he
documentary. I can't
is.
believe you haven't watched it.
I haven't
Man,
watched it either.
I started watching the documentary, but it was boring to me because it was just like highlight reel. I don't want to see his highlight reel. I want to see what he's got to say right now today. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I liked it. I like it because it was showing him like before he turned into this guy. He was so humble, down to earth. 2002,
just a
2003.
kid. Yeah.
And then he got in the accident. Did you get to the accident yet?
Maybe not. No.
So yeah, I just think you should stick it out. Keep watching. He gets
All
in a
right.
car
I have
crash.
to watch
He
it
gets
later.
he gets his mouth wired shut, and he comes out with his first breakout song because the label, they didn't want to listen to him. They didn't want to put out any of his music. They were pushing other artists. He makes this song called "Through the Wire," where it's like spitting through the wire, and boom, huge hit. Pharrell Williams going nuts. That song comes out, and then it just literally boom. From then, it shows him blowing up, and like it's
That's
really cool.
sick.
But you see him on the side you've never seen, like a sweet, like,
Humble
genuine,
Kanye.
like person. And now you see him and he's like, he's always like this, talking like you don't got the answer, Sway. Like,
He is
like
different.
Yeah,
George
fucking
Bush does not
interview.
care about black people. Like Beyonce got the best video of all time, and he's just so outlandish and stuff. But when you actually like, I feel like he's got some mental problems. I feel like if he could just like learn to just try to calm down and because he's got so much. I think he's a genius.
Yeah.
He's
on the spectrum.
He said that
I don't
he said in
disagree.
the documentary, he's like, have you ever been hospitalized because your brain was too big for your skull? And these white millionaires are sitting around there like, no. He's like, I have. Okay, so let's get that out of there. And he's like so full of himself, but it's like, I think it's true. There's so much thoughts going in his brain.
It-
That's why he gets so worked up because he doesn't know a way to really communicate what's going on.
This might be bullshit, but someone told me this and I've never fact checked
I
it.
feel like he has
and I just thought it.
Asperger's low key.
Yeah, that I heard something like Albert Einstein couldn't drive himself around like and get home. Like someone had to be his personal driver and drive him home because he couldn't remember where he lived.
Yeah.
So when you just judge him by that metric, it's like what a fucking idiot. But then it's Albert Einstein. He's a fucking mathematician. He's a genius.
He doesn't have time to think about the simple things in life. He's focused on
the big picture, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like that's my debate with Kanye is like that's why he seems so rough around the edges because his mind's just like so far up in the sky, basically thinking he can't even fucking conversate.
He's not worried about like
with regular people.
Self-awareness. Like we're always thinking about how we come off to others, and we want to portray ourselves.
Our
way.
Perception and everything.
He's not worried about his facial expressions or his gestures or his tone of voice. He's worried about the message.
Yeah, it's all.
And a lot of people get so caught up in looking at his facial gestures and his. They don't listen to the message.
And he seems sporadic.
That's what makes him even more worked up because people don't get him.
Good guy though.
But all right, I guess to wrap this up. Episode 3, second outro. And Tom Brady is back.
Fuck yeah!
We should probably use the first outro. It was pretty good still.
I like the first outro, but we're gonna throw this in before the outro. Well,
we'll put that in.
This may or may not make it.
Yeah.
But, thanks for watching. We appreciate you guys.
If you made it this far, you're a real one.
This is Logan B.
P. Moore.
Nick J. Hit that like and subscribe button.
We out of here. Fuck. Can't believe fucking Tom Brady's back.
Dude, that's kind of